Imagine this. You wake up in the morning, open your eyes, and before you even stretch, before you even feel the sunlight on your face, your hand reaches for your phone. Notifications, emails, news, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Your mind gets flooded before your soul even remembers it exists. And you think you're free. You think this is normal. But what if I told you you've been living in a prison so carefully built that you don't even realize you're trapped? And the scariest part, you helped build it. This prison doesn't have walls, it doesn't have guards, and there's no barbed wire keeping you in. In fact, you can walk anywhere you want, buy whatever you want, talk to whoever you want, but you still aren't free. You're inside a prison of beliefs, of conditioning, of invisible chains that have been wrapped around your mind since the day you were born. And the more you try to live your best life, the tighter those chains grip. Think about it. Why do you want what you want? Why do you chase money, status, beauty, likes, recognition? Did you choose those desires? Or were they programmed into you like software installed into a computer? If you were born in a small village 500 years ago, your dream life wouldn't be a Tesla and 1 million followers. It would probably be good land, healthy animals, maybe surviving until winter. Yet here you are, today, chasing things you never consciously chose. That's the first bar of the prison, manufactured desire. And here's where it gets tricky. The prison isn't run by one evil mastermind. It's not like there's some Bond villain pulling all the strings while stroking a cat. The prison runs itself. Parents, teachers, media, corporations, governments, they all play their part, often without realizing it. They were born into the prison too, and now they're just passing down the keyless cage to the next generation. Let's take school. Remember sitting in class, staring out the window, wondering why the hell you needed to memorize the capital of Burkina Faso or solve equations you'd never use in real life. And every time you asked, why do I need to know this? The teacher's answer was some variation of, because that's the system. What they never told you was that the system wasn't designed to make you free thinkers. It was designed to make you obedient, quiet, efficient, good at sitting still and following rules. Perfect little workers for an economy that doesn't care about your soul. And that's the genius of the prison. You're told freedom means being able to buy more, to consume more, to be anything you want. But in reality, your choices are limited to the menu they hand you. It's like going to a restaurant and feeling free because you can choose between chicken or fish. But you never realized you could walk out, cook your own meal, invent your own recipe. True freedom isn't choosing from the options they give you. It's realizing you can create your own. But let's pause, because I know what you're thinking. Okay, fine. Society is a prison. But what can I do? I still need money. I still need to live. I can't just walk out into the forest and eat berries all day. And you're right. Nobody's saying you should shave your head, sell your possessions, and meditate on a mountaintop, unless you really want to. But here's the truth. The real prison isn't the system. The real prison is in your mind. See, even if you escape society, your thoughts would still follow you. The beliefs you've been fed since birth, I need to succeed, I need to be liked, I need to prove myself, would still whisper in your ear. That's why monks can live in silence for years and still struggle with their egos, because the prison isn't outside, it's inside. And it takes more than moving locations to break free. It takes awareness. Here's a funny example. You ever seen a dog that could run free in an open park, but it just keeps circling around as if the leash was still on? That's us. We live in countries that preach freedom. We can travel, talk, vote, post whatever we want, but our minds keep circling the same tiny cage, trapped by invisible leashes of fear, doubt, and comparison. Social media makes it worse. Let's be honest, we're all prisoners of scrolling. They've hacked our brains so perfectly that you could sit down for just 5 minutes, and suddenly it's 3 hours later, and you're questioning your life choices because some guy your age just bought a yacht and you're still figuring out how to pay for Netflix. And the best part, you chose to scroll. Nobody forced you. That's how powerful the prison is. It makes you believe you're acting freely, while it controls every move. Now let's go deeper. Where did this prison come from? Thousands of years ago, philosophers like Plato already warned us about it. Remember the allegory of the cave? People chained inside, only seeing shadows on the wall, believing that was reality. That wasn't just a cute story. That's exactly what's happening now. You're watching shadows, media shadows, cultural shadows, social shadows, and calling it truth. And when someone tries to show you the sunlight, you resist because shadows are comfortable. Nietzsche once said, "The individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe." That's the prison in one sentence. The tribe, your family, your culture, your society, tells you what's right, what's wrong, what's acceptable. Step too far out of line and suddenly you're weird, crazy, dangerous. You're punished with ridicule, rejection, loneliness. And because we're wired to need belonging, we'd rather stay in the cell than risk being free. But here's the beautiful twist. The door of the prison has always been open. You don't need to beg anyone to free you. You don't need permission. You don't need approval. You can walk out. Today. The only question is, do you dare? And this is where the humor comes in. Because let's be real. Escaping the prison isn't as glamorous as the movies make it. Nobody's going to play epic music while you declare your freedom. It usually looks more like you sitting at home, staring at your ceiling, realizing, oh my God, I don't even like half the things I thought I liked. I've been living someone else's script. That's not cinematic. It's awkward, it's confusing, and it might even make you feel a little stupid. But guess what? That's the first step out. Freedom begins when you question. Why am I doing this? Who told me this was success? Do I actually enjoy this, or do I just enjoy people seeing me do it? That's when you start noticing the invisible bars. And once you see them, they can't control you the same way. Here's a truth most people don't want to hear. Freedom isn't comfortable. In fact, it's terrifying. Because once you step out of the prison, you can't blame it anymore. You can't say, well, society made me do it, or my parents made me do it. Freedom means the responsibility is yours, and that's scary. That's why most people choose to stay in the cage. It's safer to complain about the prison than to walk out of it. But if you're watching this right now, something in you is already awake. Something in you knows you were made for more than scrolling, working, consuming, dying. You were made to be free. And deep down, you know it. Now, let me be honest. Escaping isn't a one-time event. It's not like one day you snap your fingers and suddenly you're enlightened, sipping tea on a mountain above it all. It's daily work. It's noticing when your desires are real or when they're programmed. It's catching yourself comparing your life to some influencer who doesn't even look like their own pictures. It's reminding yourself, wait, this is the cage talking. I don't have to believe it. And the more you do it, the looser the chains get. Slowly, step by step, you start living your own life. Not the life the algorithm picked for you. Not the life your parents wanted. Not the life your culture demanded. Your life. That's real freedom. Not more money. Not more followers. Not more options from the same menu. Freedom is when you can look at all of it. Money, status, approval, and say, nice, but I don't need it to be me. So, let me leave you with this. You are not stuck. You are not powerless. You are not a prisoner unless you agree to be one. The bars are made of thoughts, and thoughts can be changed. The door has always been open. The question is, will you step through it?